Alright, what you see here is a Hunter Coastal Breeze ceiling fan in the 44-inch configuration. I saw this on the way back from work one day in the back of a pickup truck on my street, and I didn't want to take it without asking, so I figured I'd go back the next day early in the morning to see if the owner had any plans with it. One of the blade arms was broken, so I had a feeling that they would probably just let me have it, so went over the next day and I asked them if they had any plans with it, and they said that they don't have any plans with it really, so I asked if I could have it, and they said sure. The owner told me that he took it down because it was wobbling quite a bit, so, and considering that one of the blade arms broken, the blades are pretty out of alignment and such. It doesn't, I honestly don't blame them for taking it down, although they could have just put new blade arms on it, but at the same time, the fan definitely is not in the best condition, as it does have noisy bearings as well. But yeah, definitely pretty happy that I found it, just especially for free, as I do have a plan for it. Definitely would make a good beater fan for like a garage or something. I do like that the blades are actually a bit droopy because I do have some childhood memories of seeing some of these with droopy blades, especially because with the Hunter fans, some of them the blades loosen up over time due to the screws for the blades not having washers. Now, I'm not sure what happened to this fan, but the thing definitely was roughed up quite a bit. I mean, it was just kind of tossed in the back of a pickup truck. It did not have the mounting plate, but I did have a spare one I can use on it. But yeah, it is from the second quarter of 1996, so it is a little bit newer than the one that's in my bathroom, the one that I basically made into a bathroom dressing room. Here's the info on the top. This blade arm right here is the replacement one. The other three are the original ones to this fan. So, yeah, it's not in the best condition. I wouldn't install it anywhere in the house, but for like a garage or a basement, it wouldn't be a bad fan for that. And I did have to repitch some of the blades because they were, some of them, one of them, I think it was this specific one, was bent to the point where it was like reverse air. So like it was like the opposite direction completely. So I had to bend this one back quite a bit. Surprisingly, I didn't snap it, but yeah, it's a nice little beater fan here. So yeah, let me go ahead and start off on the low speed. I do have quite a bit of memories seeing these in white as a kid in the 44-inch configuration. There was a place in Lynn, Mass, that had two of these. I saw one of them first, and then the second time I went, there was the other one put up, like in the late 2000s, I'd say. I don't know, it was like probably from the late 90s, early 2000s, those ones. I don't know if it had this type of canopy or the newer type that they would use on them before they discontinued them. But because the canopies were like above the drop ceiling and such, they were on longer down rods. First time I went, one of them was off. Second time I went, they had a second one put up and the other one was running. No, one of the white ones, the second one that they put up had like a blue line on one of the blades. And of course, there's the one that my aunt has in the 52-inch configuration in white with the white motor from the early 90s. That used to have a spotlight kit. So recently they put a polished brass 4-light fitter on it due to the spotlights breaking and such. And then there's the few that my grandfather had at his house before he moved down south, and then back when he was alive and such. He had an antique brass one in one bedroom, and then the other two bedrooms he had white and brass ones with the low profile light. The one that had like a pull chain going for the center and such. I do have pictures of those in the old fan slideshows from back in like 2013 and such when I did first start on YouTube. Those are like from 2007, the pictures. But yeah, considering that this fan was pretty badly beat up, I am surprised that I was able to get the blades pretty closely aligned. For the new one that I put on there, I did bend that blade armor a bit downwards. That way, it would be more like that way I can just bend one of them down and not have all the other three more droopy. Because I'd rather bend one that's in better shape downwards instead of trying to bend up the ones that are pretty beat up and risk breaking those three. So yeah, it is pushing a decent breeze on the low speed. I got it cleaned up a little bit. I'm not cleaning it up completely because it's not worth cleaning it up in the condition it's in. More so on the top of the blades where it's a bit grimy a little bit. Yeah, let me go ahead and move it up to medium. Although the airflow on this isn't going to be the most accurate due to the fact that the blade arms are drooping downwards and such, and the blades are drooping downwards. But also, since they're not really pitched properly. It is pretty quiet considering that it does have noisy bearings. But yeah, I saw these quite a bit as a kid. So they're like one of the fans I definitely remember from like my early childhood and such. Definitely seem to find these mostly in a white finish. I was originally considering putting this in the bathroom, like as a replacement, in case the one in the bathroom dressing room slash, but better. It's actually the Coastal Breeze that I had from earlier, back in 2015, and such. But I'm like, in case the motor on that one started to get bearing issues worse than it already is, I would swap it out with this one. But this one seems to be in worse shape. No, it's actually not. It's actually a little bit quieter. Like, I'm not hearing the ticking sound on it like I do with the one in the bathroom. Right now, to try it out on high speed. I know it's gonna have a bit of a wobble on the high speeds. Yeah, I can definitely see why they took this down, honestly. I mean, that is for someone that's not that is not 100% sure that the fan will fall down. I mean, it definitely could look like it would fall down. I am feeling a decent breeze from it over here. At some point, I'm definitely gonna probably give it some new blade arms after I use it for the plan that I have for it, which you guys will see some point later on. It's definitely, it was wobbling a lot worse before I aligned it better. It's fetching a decent breeze underneath it considering the blade's condition and such. fact, this one's actually quieter. I'd honestly consider putting this in the bathroom and swapping out the bathroom dressing room with it. But since that one's in the bathroom, I really don't mind it being noisy and such. Alright, spin down and then I'll show in reverse. I mean, this one is already a little bit more rusted than the one that's in the bathroom anyways. I mean, I technically could actually put these blades on the bathroom dressing room, because it actually would fit a 44-inch fan in there, and so I could make it back into a coastal breeze, but it is gonna be like literally a centimeter away from the wall, like right where the shower is, so it wouldn't move as much air. But I definitely do have a plan on installing this somewhere. Sorry about that, I just had to go and shut off the heat upstairs. For some reason, it turned on despite it not being cold out. But yeah, let me go ahead and show it on reverse. I can kind of hear the bearings on it. It's not nearly as loud as I would think it would be when I spun it by hand without the blades on it. It's honestly barely noticeable unless you really listen to it. It sounds more like a wind sound, if anything. The fact that the thing is barely wobbling at all in reverse, when it's wobbled a lot on downdraft, I'm very surprised. I mean, I know the Hunter Stratford, it did the same thing with that one, like it wobbled a decent amount on downdraft, but on reverse it barely wobbled at all. And it's usually the other way around when that happens. It's interesting. Alright, and shut it off, and that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.